Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land based on novel. So let's start. Little San, go all out. The six devils' gazes all focused on Tang San. Daimubai was the one who spoke up, his voice filled with encouragement. The others equally gazed at Tang San. Especially Xiao Wu who, besides encouragement, hid the concern that filled her heart as best she could. But how would Tang San fail to notice? Raising his head to look at the golden sun in the sky, Tang San suddenly issued a resonant cry. The cry pierced the sky like an arrow, like a declaration of war against the sun, as if to express the humiliation Qian Renxue gave him. In the cry, Tang San rose into the air, bringing along that faint golden light. In the blink of an eye he had shot into mid-air. So fast it was like a vague golden shooting star, and the direction he flew in was the deep sea area that hid the deep sea demon whale king. A strange sound issued from Xiao Bai's mouth at the same time. She suddenly accelerated, leading her clansmen carrying the six devils and the remaining one to quickly chase in Tang San's direction. The Shrek six devils sitting upright on the backs of the devil spirit great white sharks naturally also released their spirits. This unavoidable battle would finally begin. Tang San's full-strength cry was so loud that the piercing sound broke through the sky and deep into the sea. Within this howl, Tang San had already rushed into demon whale territory. In his right hand, the sea god trident leaned towards the surface of the sea, and Tang San's eyes were filled with aggressiveness. Blue hair fluttered in the wind, his white robes weren't graceful, only radiating killing intent. On his forehead that trident brand emanated golden light, like a third eye. In their minds, the deep-sea demon whale king was a terrifying undefeatable existence. And this challenger was actually a human. Numerous sea spirit beasts floated to the surface, distantly watching Tang San floating in the sky. Clever sea spirit beasts all retreated some distance, while the gutsy cautiously approached a bit. Of course, among them absolutely weren't anyone who dared enter the demon whale territory. That was an absolute taboo. Tang San stayed 500 meters above the surface. This position was carefully calculated. As the strongest sea spirit beast, the deep-sea demon whale's attacks couldn't be avoided by flying like this. The reason he flew here was because this was the most advantageous position to attack. The crystal-clear sea gradually began to change. The originally sky-blue water slowly grew murky, the great waves in the demon whale territory calming down, forming a clear contrast with the heaving sea surrounding it. This calm didn't spread outward, and neither could any waves influence it. The thick atmosphere made the air distort somewhat. Tang San's expression was constant, golden blue light emerging beneath his feet, one spirit ring after another floated up around him. After 3 days of rest, the side effects from using ring detonation had already disappeared, and the blue-silver emperor spirit could be used again. Distantly, Xiao Bai had already stopped with her clansmen. Ning Rongrong jumped up, standing on Xiao Bai's back. The 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda glittering with brilliant light appeared in her palm. Daimubai and Zhu Zhuqing joined up, arriving next to Xiao Bai. The two now stood on the same devil spirit great white shark's back, palms linked together. Xiao Wu quietly watched Tang San in the air from the side, the blood-red brand on her forehead representing a first-rate trial already starting to grow feverish. Very clearly, she was going to meet the enemy together with Tang San again. Even though their current position was very distant from the center of the demon whale territory, it was already within its range. Bringing along glittering light, Ma Hongjun very quickly also arrived high in the air. Only he flew 100 meters higher than Tang San, just above him. Opening his phoenix wings, 7 heads stared down. At the same time as Ma Hongjun arrived in position, the seawater fell back into the ocean with an explosive roar while Tang San didn't even sway in the air. He had broken the deep-sea demon whale king's attack, and at the same time the blue-silver tyrant spear in his right hand instantly erupted, turning into a streak of golden light disappearing into the sea. Seeing Tang San so easily dissolve the deep-sea demon whale king's attack, whether Ma Hongjun above him, or the devil spirit great white sharks and the others watching in the distance, they all couldn't help feeling a rush of confidence. And in fact, the reason Tang San dared come challenge the deep-sea demon whale king, whose strength was unknown, but very possibly wasn't second to peak Doluor, wasn't mainly relying on the great Sumeru hammer, nor any ability or capability combination, but rather the sea god's light. No matter how powerful the deep-sea demon whale king was, it was still after all a sea spirit beast. The sea god's light was the inheritance of the once ruler of the oceans. Facing the deep-sea demon whale king, even though he equally had to bear enormous pressure, there was one thing that made Tang San relieved. The deep-sea demon whale king was in the end a sea spirit beast. While widely known for its enormous power, its mental power wasn't as formidable. At least it wasn't stronger than sea god Doluor Bo Saishi. Boom! Countless golden specks of light rose from the surface of the sea, and an incomparably enormous body also floated to the surface. Its crystal blue body seemed terrifying even without sunlight, a single eye coldly watching Tang San in the air. In fact, the blue-silver tyrant spear was a 100,000-year spirit ability. Even when Tang San faced the 15-ton and Emperor's powerful defense, they couldn't escape it unscathed. But now the deep-sea demon whale king seemed unperturbed. Its giant body, if it had such defensive power everywhere, then that was just too terrifying. It was simply a giant ocean fortress. No wonder Xiao Bai said the deep-sea demon whale king was possibly the #1 absolute overlord of the sea. So it's you. The deep voice seemed to echo from the ocean. The strange sound wave spread into the air, and Tang San frowned as he heard it. You recognize me? Tang San didn't feel it was strange that the deep-sea demon whale king could speak. Even Xiao Bai could, so how could the deep-sea demon whale king not? That it didn't speak last time was definitely because it didn't feel they were qualified for the effort. The sea god's successor, how could I not recognize you? However, even if you are the sea god's successor, you still can't barge into my territory. And you even attack me. Very well, don't think about leaving today, just stay here. I wonder if swallowing the sea god's successor can help me break through the final step. Tang San gave a cold snort. Then I'd like to see if you swallow me, or I annihilate you. The deep-sea demon whale king laughed. The sound was extremely unpleasant, like a giant rock being smashed to bits. Kid, do you know what is called overestimating one's abilities? I took the bait last time, that wasn't the sea god itself, but still scared me off. While speaking, the deep-sea demon whale king's giant body abruptly rolled violently in the sea, instantly flinging up its enormous tail and slapping towards Tang San in the air. A purple-blue light shot out like lightning. The deep-sea demon whale king wasn't using the power of the ocean for this, but rather purely its physical body. Listening to the deep-sea demon whale king, Tang San suddenly understood something. To be able to forge such an enormous body to 99% god level, the last step he mentioned was to become god. From spirit beast transforming straight into a god, even Grandmaster had never heard something like it. How many years of cultivation would that take? There was no time to think about that now. Both hands clenching the sea god trident, Tang San's eyes glittered as another ray of sea god's light shone on the trident. The energy flung out by the whale tail and Tang San's circle struck together violently. Immediately, the light in the sky dimmed. It seems you've really learned some skills from the sea god. However, it's just this much. In those days the sea god used this trident to stab my eye. You're just his successor, and you still dare drop in and pick a fight. When mentioning the sea god, this deep-sea demon whale king's voice was filled with fury. The calm sea water instantly boiled, enormous energy waves blocking Tang San's mental strength outside in a split second. Tang San calmly said, Demon whale king, if I'm not mistaken, your cultivation might be close to 1,000,000 years. Spirit beast cultivation is even more difficult than for us human spirit masters. Just like our problem of breaking through to the rank 99 pinnacle, you spirit beasts have to cultivate the greatest strength by relying on even more time. In order to break through the god level, you need energy stored over even more time. The deep-sea demon whale king planned to keep attacking, but hearing Tang San he still suspiciously said, you can tell my cultivation. Don't tell me you've already become god. No, impossible, your presence is still far from the sea god's level. It talked about being fearless of the sea god, but in fact, the sea god was its only nemesis in this world. Unless it could break through the bottleneck and rise to the demon god level, it basically wasn't the sea god's match. Now the deep-sea demon whale king already understood. Kid, you're just guessing. That's right, there's no harm in telling you. I have already lived 1,000,000 years in the ocean. I'm just lacking the final step to reach the god level. You're right, it's extremely difficult for spirit beasts to become god. I reached my current level 100,000 years ago already, but I still can't break through the final barrier. You're looking to die. The deep-sea demon whale roared furiously. This time it didn't launch any energy attack, rolling once again. The 200-meter-long enormous body revealed extreme flexibility. At the same time as it turned, that giant tail fin swung, slapping at the azure dragon descending. Although his body was already 99% into the god realm, it still sensed intense danger from Tang San's attack. With the double boost of erect gold fly and the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda, plus Tang San's gravity control increasing the weight of the sea god trident to 1,080,000 jin, as well as those 2 peak spirit ability attacks, let alone the deep sea demon whale king, even god-level Qianren Shue would have to treat such numerous combined attacks seriously. Tang San's attack definitely reached the god level. The energy the deep sea demon whale king had stored up over a million years really was too enormous. It really was just one step short of being able to enter the god level. Sensing the danger in Tang San's attack, it also used its full strength. The instant the whale fin struck the azure dragon, the giant azure dragon that had formed outside Tang San was broken apart. However, Tang San wasn't so easy to deal with either. Even though the collision made him feel as if all his bones had come loose, he still firmly stabbed the sea god trident into the deep sea demon whale king's tail. The sea god trident was just a tiny toy compared to the deep sea demon whale king's body, but even if it was already soulless, it was still a former divine weapon. At the same moment, the golden 8 spider lances instantly stretched out behind Tang San. This external spirit bone had injured the deep sea demon whale king before, and now once again stabbed into its flesh. Back then Tang San had been freakishly lucky, and also underestimated by the deep sea demon whale king, allowing Tang San to charge over to the weakest point that was its blowhole, and could then stab with the 8 spider lances. But now the 8 spider lances had already evolved to the god level, and he no longer had to go look for weak points. The sharp lance tips ruthlessly stabbed down, immediately displaying their powerful draining effect and formidable poison. They firmly held Tang San closely to the deep sea demon whale king's tail fin, and no matter how it struggled it was unable to throw Tang San off its back. Intense pain caused the deep sea demon whale king to spasm. Even though its body was powerful and killing it with poison was practically impossible, Tang San's 8 spider lances had absorbed such terrifying poison, just like when he passed the trials back on Sea God Island. While Tang San looked to be fighting alone, he in fact had the support of his comrades behind him the whole time. The 8 lances' draining effect fully started. Tang San wasn't concerned with how much effect the poison would have, but he knew with certainty that draining the deep sea demon whale king's energy was enormously beneficial to him. The god level 8 spider lances' draining ability really was too terrifying. In practically just a few of the deep sea demon whale king's struggles, everything that happened was completely within Tang San's plan. Tang San had told everyone that the deep sea demon whale king was bound to be extremely strong, and defeating it head-on would be practically impossible. However, Tang San also declared that the deep sea demon whale king had a weakness. That was its powerful and enormous body. Indeed, this creature as giant as a fortress could easily block any attack without harm, but no matter how flexible it was, its body was still there. This was what Tang San thought of according to how he once harmed the deep sea demon whale king. Just now he instantly used erect gold fly, Ning Rongrung's boost and the million Jin sea god trident to successfully complete an established goal charging in close to the deep sea demon whale king. No matter how violently the deep sea demon whale king turned, it still could do nothing since Tang San's actions were all below its energy protection. No matter how the deep sea demon whale king moved, its fish-shaped enormous body was fixed. It had no way of grabbing Tang San. It was the first time the deep sea demon whale king experienced something like this. He was of a mind to attack its own body, taking the damage to get rid of Tang San. But its pure energy attacks had to be issued with its body and couldn't be turned on itself. Only those attacks using the ocean could hit it. But these attack methods were less than useless to Tang San. Any attack you launch, I'll meet with Sea God's light. If the deep sea demon whale king could see Tang San's expression now, it would definitely discover that the human tormenting it had a trace of a triumphant smile at the corners of his mouth. Incomparably enormous body erupted from the deep sea demon whale king's head. In this instant, its 200-meter-long body actually halted in midair. Deep blue light shot from the ocean below, and from the vast dark clouds descended 9 lightning bolts, as thick as barrels, slamming the deep-sea demon whale king's body. Intense purple-blue light instantly covered the deep-sea demon whale king's giant body. Whether the blue from below or the purple lightning falling from above, they left behind a layer of faintly golden light on its back, and the deep-sea demon whale king's skin seemed to condense into a purple-blue crystal. At the same time, its giant body began to shrink with astonishing speed. At the same time as the purple bolts of lightning struck the deep-sea demon whale king, Tang San felt numb all over. "Fatty, get ready. This fellow's attributes are water and thunder," Tang San called loudly. The 8 spider lances on his back stretched out, that intense golden light making Tang San's aura flourish. Correct, the deep-sea demon whale king's body was much stronger than him, but his 8 spider lances weren't only demigod level, but truly god level. This was also how he could control the deep-sea demon whale king like that before. Tang San of course knew what the deep-sea demon whale king was doing. Just like he wasn't startled by it spitting human language, even Xiao Bai could temporarily take human form on land. How could this million-year deep-sea demon whale king to less? To eliminate the weak point of its size, he only had one option. This was also the route Tang San had planned. Relying on the god level 8 spider lance's special ability and perfect tactics, Tang San left the deep-sea demon whale king no choice but to abandon its fortress-like body. But in fact, the deep-sea demon whale king had no choice but to do this. The enemies he had faced in the path had basically never used Tang San's method to fight it, and even if they wanted to, they still didn't have a freakish external spirit bone like the 8 spider lances to do it with, able to break its defense as well as violently absorb its energy, and even poison it. The deep-sea demon whale king deeply felt that, if this went on, Tang San would have a chance of torturing it to death. Facts proved that Tang San's choice to disengage was completely correct. The purple-blue crystal condensed on the deep-sea demon whale king's body violently exploded, forming a purple-blue giant maelstrom in the air. "Did you believe you would have a chance by forcing me to take human shape? True, I can't possess such enormous energy when in human form, but that doesn't mean I would abandon it. How could you imagine what's saved up over a million years?" Listening to the deep-sea demon whale king, Tang San's expression sank. Ma Hongjun had already come up behind him, scorching hot flames coloring the air deep red. Ma Hongjuan's voice echoed by Tang San's ear, "Third brother, what is this fellow doing? Such violent energy, you have to be careful." Tang San nodded. Clear sky hammer in his left hand, sea god trident in his right, Tang San maintained a special state, his mental strength extroverted. Between heaven and earth, even though it was filled with the deep-sea demon whale king's enormous energy, Tang San's mental strength still filled every crack in between. These small cracks seemed unremarkable, but still completely passed through the energy enveloping the deep-sea demon whale king. It couldn't influence the energy, but it could still pass on each minute change to Tang San's mind. His boundless mental strength told Tang San that the deep-sea demon whale king's incomparably enormous energy was compressing with frightening speed. The purple-blue light vanished, the 200-meter deep-sea demon whale gone. Appearing in Tang San's line of sight was a simple-looking middle-aged man. This person was more than 3 meters tall, deep blue hair scattered behind it. Most astonishing was that he wore a set of bizarre deep purple armor. The armor seemed crystalline, formed from chest, shoulder, stomach armor, battle skirt, as well as armor for all 4 limbs, a full set. Watching the changes in mid-air, Xiao Bai was aghast, crying out in alarm. Energy armor form, it seems it wasn't just bragging, it might really be close to the god level. Back when the Lord Sea God became god, he could harmonize his energy with himself, forming divine armor, as well as transform his spirit into the sea god trident, turning it into his weapon. Dai Mubai's expression turned equally serious. After taking human shape, the energy that can't be frozen into the body is compressed into this armor shape and worn, and can still be used to wield its original power. There's practically no downside. It seems Little San will lose. This deep-sea demon whale king is much stronger than we imagined. In mid-air, Tang San still seemed particularly calm. The deep-sea demon whale king gave a low roar, suddenly raising its right hand, purple balls of light appearing around it. In an instant they covered every part of a several hundred square meter range. Ear-piercing sounds resounded, produced by the compacting. In just the span of one breath, The more than 10,000 purple balls of light shot towards Tang San like a meteor shower. Their speed could only be described as flashes of lightning. 3 parts water, 7 parts thunder. This was Tang San's estimate of the deep-sea demon whale king's attack. After surviving Chen Renshue's pursuit, and seeing the sea god using unfixed storm a second time, Tang San's understanding of this divine skill had already risen to an unprecedented level. Although his sea god trident was no longer a divine weapon in the true sense, an enormous ring of light brightened in the air. Its color was deep red, no longer the blue-silver emperor energy from before, but rather came from the clear sky hammer. Ice-cold killing intent also filled the atmosphere this instant. On the clear sky hammer behind Tang San's back, the death god domain was released. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.